Carlos Alcaraz surpasses Juan Carlos Ferrero? Tennis sensation Carlos Alcaraz continues to add accolades to his already distinguished career, and the Spaniard will have another record to boast about in front of his coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, following his victory at the ABN AMRO Rotterdam Open. The former world number 1 made his debut this year in Rotterdam in search of his first indoor hard court title. Alcaraz fought his way to the final, where he defeated an informed Alex de Minaur in 3 sets to win the 17th ATP title of his career. Alcaraz surpasses Ferrero in career titles. Although Ferrero could not accompany his protégé to the ATP 500 event, Alcaraz had secondary coach Samuel Lopez in his corner. Lopez's presence seemed to be enough, as Alcaraz managed to overcome the competition, becoming the first Spaniard to win the Rotterdam title. Carlos Alcaraz continues to make history in the world of tennis with yet another remarkable achievement. With this latest victory, the young Spanish sensation has now secured the 17th ATP title of his career at just 21 years old, further solidifying his status as one of the brightest talents in the sport. This milestone is particularly significant as it puts him one title ahead of his coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, who, despite reaching the pinnacle of the ATP rankings as world number 1, finished his professional career with 16 titles. Alcaraz's rapid rise has been nothing short of extraordinary. Since bursting onto the scene as a teenager, he has consistently demonstrated an incredible combination of skill, mental toughness, and an insatiable hunger for success. His triumphs on various surfaces, including his Grand Slam victories, prove his versatility and ability to dominate in different playing conditions. With his career still in its early stages, the reigning Wimbledon champion is expected to add many more titles to his name in the coming years. If he maintains his current trajectory, he could surpass some of the sport's greatest legends in terms of achievements. The future looks exceptionally bright for Alcaraz as he continues to build his legacy. Alcaraz and Ferrero have worked together since 2019. The duo has won 5 of the same titles, with the French Open being the only Grand Slam title Ferrero holds in his career. Djokovic compares Carlos Alcaraz and Sinner to Nadal, Federer, and himself. The Serbian has reflected on the rivalry developing between the Italian and the Spaniard, which reminds him of the Big Three, in which he also includes Andy Murray. After suffering an injury in Australia and before making his return in Doha, Novak Djokovic gave an interview to Vigesty, where he reflected on the passage of time and the new contenders emerging on the circuit. Specifically, the Serbian highlighted Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. They are developing a new rivalry. In fact, the 24-time major champion compared them to the well-known Big Four and sent them a message: they have a responsibility beyond tennis. Nadal, Federer, and I, along with Murray, whom I must include here, truly dominated men's tennis over the past 15 or 20 years and raised the standards and criteria, he explained. Not only in terms of results but also in all other aspects and expectations that a champion and world number 1 must meet, he added. How they should represent tennis, how they should fulfill that role as an ambassador of the sport, as a leader in the sport, he concluded. Zverev filled with doubts in the face of Alcaraz's threat. The world number 2 is on the verge of losing his ranking to Alcaraz and continues to show doubts heading into major tournaments. Next week, tennis has a high-level event in Doha. The best players will return to the court to face off in an ATP 500 tournament following the events in Rotterdam and Dallas. However, one player who does not seem likely to be present is Alexander Zverev, who has chosen the easier route by competing in the ATP 250 event in Argentina. This tournament does not feature the top ATP players, making it easier for the world number 2 to compete for the title. The event starts on Wednesday, February 12th, and, if all goes as expected, will conclude with a final on Sunday, February 16th, just one day before the Doha tournament begins. However, when it comes to major tournaments, Zverev seems to have increasing doubts. The German has never won a Grand Slam title, despite spending years at the top and being ranked number 2 in the ATP. At the Australian Open, he once again came close, but Jannik Sinner ended his hopes, leaving him just short of victory. After the award ceremony, Sasha raised concerns by admitting that he does not feel good enough to win one of the season's major titles. These doubts persist, as he again expressed them in the press conference before his debut in Argentina. I have to believe that I am good enough to win a slam, Zverev said, acknowledging that if he does not believe in his own talent, he will not be able to prove it on the court, though he did not sound particularly convinced. I want to keep believing in myself and improving. Roland Garros is the next Grand Slam tournament, and it is definitely my next big goal, added the German, who continues to chase his long-awaited breakthrough. Carlos Alcaraz chasing Zverev. with Sinner as the ultimate target. For now, his biggest goal is to win a Grand Slam, but his greatest threat is Carlos Alcaraz. The Spanish player has just been crowned in Rotterdam, overcoming one of his tennis weaknesses, indoor courts. And after his victory in this tournament, he has made a statement in the ATP rankings, adding 500 points and cutting 1,000 from Sinner's lead. Only 625 points separate the Spaniard from reaching the second spot in the world rankings, meaning Zverev is under pressure to win this tournament if he wants to hold on to his position. Meanwhile, Alcaraz will be in Doha, where more points are up for grabs. Sinner delivers the final blow to Carlos Alcaraz. The Italian surpasses the Spaniard in total weeks as world number 1 and is already waiting for him in Doha for a potential showdown. This Monday, the ATP rankings updated once again, delivering a significant blow to Carlos Alcaraz in his fight for the number 1 spot. While the Spaniard managed to cut 1,000 points from the Italian's lead with his triumph in Rotterdam and is closing in on Zverev for the second spot, Sinner has once again pulled ahead. The Italian remains at the top of the ATP rankings for another week, equaling Alcaraz's best record of 36 weeks as world number 1. However, Sinner is set to surpass this mark, as he still holds a significant lead over his competitors. Jannik has 11,830 points, while Zverev, the second-ranked player, has 8,135. As a result, the Italian is guaranteed to remain number 1 for several more weeks, aiming to surpass Andy Murray's record, 40 weeks. Meanwhile, he will look to extend his lead in the Doha tournament, where he returns to action following his Australian Open triumph. Jannik Sinner at another level compared to Alcaraz. It does not seem like Sinner will relinquish the top spot anytime soon, as he currently appears unbeatable. His rivals believe he is on another level, whereas Alcaraz is off days and can be put under pressure. That is how Alex de Minaur sees it, having lost to both players in the last 2 editions of the Rotterdam tournament. When I play against Carlos, we always have very tough battles. It's about turning those matches in my favor. It's definitely a better matchup for me to play against Carlos. I feel that, in some way, I can put pressure on him, I can hold him back and hurt him, making his life uncomfortable. But I haven't been able to do that against Jannik, explained the Australian, who has a 10-0 losing record against the world number 1. Carlos Alcaraz is the only one who can challenge Sinner. However, despite the Italian winning in most comparisons, Alcaraz has the upper hand in their head-to-head matches. A 6-4 record in his favor proves that the world number 3 is the only one capable of challenging Sinner. Moreover, these victories have come in crucial matches, such as the China Open final or the Roland Garros semifinal, a Grand Slam that Alcaraz eventually won. Therefore, this rivalry is set to define men's tennis for years to come. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, because here at Tennis Zone, we are dedicated to bringing you the best content for the best audience. We provide in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and comprehensive coverage of everything related to the world of tennis. Join our community and be part of the excitement of the tournaments with us. Additionally, at Tennis Zone, we strive to offer high-quality, up-to-date content about players, tournaments, strategies, and the most relevant events in the world of tennis.